Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and heat your heats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. Dance your dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey. Party time. Yeah. Party time.
Good Lord, and it is party time as well. How do I do this? Am I here? What's that? I was talking to Packer before the stream, and I like usually it's a nightmare setting up the apothecary because I've got to turn my computer because look at this bit, you know. It's a mess here anyway. Like if I have to start turning things, then it takes about 20 minutes to tidy up afterwards. It adds time. I wasn't going to stream tonight because I'm in cream crackered, but I thought it's been a week. I've got to do it. It's my duty. And to see Mrs. Me in here is lovely. It's Knyom Argoncharan Clang Clang. There you go, love, especially for you. To see that JP John Palmer say, is this a proper stream or one of those reaction things? The bloke who said to me, these reaction streams are excellent, do more of them. Thanks for the advice. Traitor. But anyway, when I do this, that happens. Hang on. Oh, come on, I forgot from last week. I've got to do all this palaver every time I want to change it. There you go. So the illusion. Oh my days! What the hell is going on? I'm a bit big, aren't I? There you go. As long as you can still hear me. Well, to be honest with you, we're going to have the reaction on. What's that noise?
George has had a fantastic season. He's very consistent.
Might be my missus.
2 wins, obviously very timely. Just had, and as you get better and better, have those results and the consistency.
Can you still hear it?
You have more leverage.
Yeah, it sounds like you got the telly on, which is all right, but it's gone now. It's gone. When I said it was all right, what I meant was I'm going to have to think of a very polite way of telling you to fuck off. Look at that. Hang on a minute. Don't blow my mind with Livy has been on the firm already for 14 months. Come on, Livy, you've been on the firm longer than that. Everyone knows it. John Fuse has dropped to Lady Godiva to get the ball running. Thank you. Hi, mate. Not expecting a response as I know you're busy. Mate, I'm here for responding. That's all right. Did you get my email regarding Ford S? No, I didn't. Not as yet, no. And I've checked them. Like I've been working all day, so I'll check my emails all day. I'll have a look at my spam. send it again just in case, because I know what we've been talking about. So, yeah, I'm sure Ford Escorts is really no one knows what you're talking about. But no, ping me an email again. I didn't receive it. I haven't. I would have. I've got my emails under control at the moment, so I would have likely replied to that. But nice one for the donation. Literally feeding me. Vinny, the man, the boy, the legend, the real Vincent Griffin. No frauds, fakes, or gutter snipes here. A member for 33 months. You've been a member for longer than that. I ain't buying that nonsense. Okay, I'll get the grift out of the way. No, I won't. I'll wait till there's more people there. But I do need your money. Hang on a minute. Look at that. John Fuse has topped it up. What's your email again? Ready? You've got a pen and paper. Packer, can you keep an eye out and tell me whether John has got a pen and paper or maybe or potentially digital method of remembering my email? Look at you cracking up. I bet there's loads of super chats that are just hilarious. Not super chats, but just chats. Wouldn't it be weird if it was one of those days where everyone just thought, you know what, today, because he's so knackered, because he's written a novel, because his business is going down the pan, because he's building a house in the jungle, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to make that step and give him a lady. What was it when, what was his name? I can't remember his name. Oh yeah, Unwanted. When he started doing the religious grift, he was reading from the Bible at the start of his streams because he see that other fella doing it and making a fucking killing. He thought, I'll get on that. And then he done one stream where he went, listen, I'm proper angry. Listen, if I don't get 55 pound per stream, I'm stopping. I'm not going to do it anymore. YouTube makes you weird. It's made me weird. If someone I really respect and admire, they're having quite an hard time, an exceptionally hard time in fairness. But they give me a little dig about the 4B2s the other day, and I said I don't get involved in that. I don't really get involved in that conversation. You know, on this stream, the only time I tend to mention the 4B2s is when I'm saying read Adorno, Derrida, Horkheimer, Walter Benjamin. Like, it's not, not the expected kind of. I'm no neo-nerdy, but anyway. Right, ready, John? Chris at chrisdangerfield.com. There you go. Easy. But yeah, I know the kind of thing you want to talk about. Always happy. I'm always happy to help out any scrub, and I've done over the years video chats. If you're really struggling, people, any of you with anything, if you want a video chat, I can use my ears more than my mouth in some situations. Sometimes it's nice just to talk with someone who's not like a close friend or part of the family, and I will keep my lips sealed about it. It will be private. I might record it for future use. Not really. I'll tell you the thing that's blowing my mind at the moment. It's interesting seeing Miss Me in here, because her other half, Mouse Cat, the much beloved Mouse Cat, or the pair of them, like they're just like the Scrubs power couple, aren't they? I'm sort of grassing him up a bit here, but he's meant to be, I can't say too much because it involves private things, but he's meant to be learning something else. He's meant to be doing something else. He keeps telling me his misses Me in it, is on his back about. But instead of doing that, he's reading structural and post-structural French theory. Like not lightweight texts either, like texts like of grammatology. Probably my favorite book ever written, and I'm into literary fiction. This is where it gets interesting. I was about to say literary fiction, it is not. However, this is interesting for me, maybe two of you. I've done my master's degree about where does poetry end and prose begin, but not just that. Where does philosophy end and poetry begin? you know, think of Descartes. I think therefore I am. It's quite poetic, isn't it? So where do they end? What if you know, it's like the old mental illness thing that, oh, he's on a spectrum. All right, well, where does autism end and not autism start? Where is that? Because you're literally checking boxes. So I have been affected emotionally from reading parts of grammatology, or in the French, de la grammatology, as much as I have reading, say, Catcher in the Rye affected me quite severely, as it did a lot of people. You know, Hunter S. Thompson, Blood Meridian. What's the one he wrote before Blood Meridian? Sutri. If you haven't read Sutri or Sutri, what a book that is. And Bukowski, of course. But I get the same from theoretical texts. Because when someone pulls the rug out from the footings that have held up Western metaphysics for hundreds of years, that changes your world. It changes how you see reality. And Derrida does that. When Adorno explains how the culture industry works, and you know, when you hear that, you think, oh, I get it's about, oh yeah, culture's mass produced. Yeah, but there's a bit more to it than that. And how it changes us as a people, how it changes how we connect to each other and how we don't connect to each other. It talks about how we have the illusion of connection, which is a very dangerous thing. Illusions of fundamentals are the most dangerous things in the world. You know, like I can give you a very crude example. When I say the illusions of fundamentals are the most dangerous things in the world, imagine the illusion of eating. You know, you got a plate and it's got like a sausages, eggs, beans, and a bit of fried bread, but it isn't. It's just like tissue paper that's been sort of painted to look like that. It's the illusion of nutrition, and so you will soon die. So when you're looking at the mechanics of a society, you've got to, you know, the culture industry has ripped us. What is it? What's it in Shakespeare? We have been untimely ripped from the womb of consumption and production. Well, this has started light. But what we're going to do today, I haven't watched this video. Good Lord, it would appear there is more. Vinnie Griffin dropped a Lady Godiva in. No message, nothing. I'll tell a lie. He says, get the grift rolling for you. And you have. You certainly have. Thank you, Vincent. Very kind. John Fused, who's already donated 7 bob, said, no worries. The first 2 went spam. So check spam. I'll leave you. John, just give me 12 quid, right? Now, people can't buy me, but you have just been very generous, and I can sense something in your wording that you're sort of feeling a bit like you're in the way or whatever. I'll leave you. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But you don't have to leave me alone. It'll be a pleasure to help you if I can, and I will. I'll check. It won't be tonight because I've been I'm fucked. I'm so fucked. But I'll dig out my, let me have a look now, actually. Why don't we just do that, get this sorted so that you can relax and I know it's there. And John Palmer, I played Party Time for you. And you come at me with your aggression and unhappiness. I'm not doing things as I should for you. Right, John Fused. Well, the weird thing is, I'm not going to be able to find you unless you used your name.
He says he'll forward it again.
Yeah, ping it over again. I haven't got anything. I searched John Fused, I haven't got anything. Use Fused in it somewhere so I can search, and but I'll certainly try and find it. All right, we'll consider that dealt with for the time being. I'm just going to let the numbers get up a bit more before we actually get into it. Let's see who else is in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for those donations. Very kind. Don't forget, you can use that QR code that Packer is now indicating. First time. There you go. He's got his technique now. It's just, it's the old, that Packer is that. It's the arm like a wave. So if you're wrong, you can keep going to the upper corner.
It's down there. I can't.
You've got it dialed in, I think is what they say these days. It's dialed in. But you can hang your camera over. I see Mark Dice is now using Buy Me a Coffee. They take the least money away from me. So it is the best one to use. But I do understand getting your moment of glory on the screen, like Pizzle. Bless you, Pizzle. That's lovely. Hello there, and hello to you too. I was thinking about you the other day. I was thinking about you a lot, actually. I'm writing this novel. It's finished, by the way. It's finished. It's just structural now. I've got the cover all sorted. I'm going to give it to a professional designer, but it's all, oh my days, actually having a novel available. I reckon probably middle of November, hopefully. But it's got to be before Christmas. It's got to be before, I think 5th of December. It's all over. Too late. You fucked it, boy. And then it'll mean I'll be gutted. But man, has time gone quickly. But some nights I'll sit there and anyway, don't get me blaming you. Or don't get me talking about my novel. I won't stop. No one did. I did. No way is the grift on fire. This is ridiculous. Mousecat. Or as we now call him, Jacques Cat. He says this. Derrida had me questioning everything I thought familiar. Cheers, Chris. I'm an outcast. Yeah, that's what he does. Isn't it incredible? I'm so glad you're getting it. I mean, it's not easy. Not to say you can't get it, but it takes time. I remember saying to one of my tutors, I went back to lecture at an art school I used to go to about 10 years after I left. And I was right into Derrida at that point. And I said to him, have you read of grammatology? And he looked at me and he went, I'm not sure that Of Grammatology is a book you can say you've read. I sort of knew what he meant immediately, but I liked him a lot and I wanted to get a bit more out of him. I said, what do you mean? He said, what the fuck is it about? He said, it's the undoing of everything. And not in some weird, I've done too much DMT. He takes he takes seminal texts like Rousseau's essay on the history of languages, Husserl's phenomenology and all that. And just shows why the foundation of Western metaphysics is based on claptrap, is based on assumptions that don't hold up. And under the most simple sort of superficial, dare I say, scrutiny. It's not like you've got to go do all this mad stuff and no, you just say, well, look, hang on a minute. Like what I just said, if you've got a spectrum, where does one thing end and the other start? Day and night. Where does day end and night start? We can give it a time, we can mark it, but actually it's not a binary opposite. It's part of the same singularity. But Derrida will tear your world apart and do it with charm and panache as well. And here's what really bugs me: a Mousecat, you might sort of already be realizing this. You'll get some people who literally, and I use that word deliberately and intentionally, they literally say it's nonsense. It's just a joke. Like people used to say about modernist painting. What, Kandinsky, Picasso, who 4-year-old can draw like that? They say that Derrida's like 40-year body of work is just rubbish. And I'm not talking about just like Joe Bloggs here and there. There are people at top educational institutions around the world who say it's just nonsense. Not nonsense as in his arguments are incorrect, but nonsense as in it doesn't make any sense. Because he doesn't. One of Derrida's things is we're talking about language. Language is what is the object of analysis, and we're immediately caught in a contradiction because the tools we've got to analyze language are language. You can see the problem there. So all the inherent instability and continually deferred meaning, you know, of all words, of all sentences, of all idioms, of all marks, a footprint, a scratch on the wall, a scream, the meaning's continually deferred. The system isn't stable, and then you're gonna try and explain that using the unstable, continually deferred system of language that you're finding problematic. And no one else had done this. And that's why I just adore the man. You know, he was doing his work. He was hanging around with the Telkel lot. Telkel is I think it comes from Nietzsche. It means eternal recurrence. So some kind of cyclical sort of sense of things. And there were in Paris in the late 60s, around 1968, you know, Night at the Barricades and all that lark. Telkel were pretty active. And Derrida said, where am I going with this? I've lost my thread. Sorry, people. I think it's because 42 dropped a tenner. I just don't care about anything else when some money arrives. There was a point there was something really important there. Julia Kristeva was part of that. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say. You know, and they're all doing their bit and they're working with each other. I've missed that in my life. I've missed a group of writers who are, you know, thinking together. There used to be schools. You know, like you heard, like the Chicago School, and you know, there's all different groups. Telkel is an example where writers would work with each other and, you know, cross ideas. Jacques Lacan, French psychoanalyst, Jeff Sharla, my mate Jeffrey Sharla. Oh, he wrote me the most beautiful email the other day. He said words to the effect of, "You know more about the issues of psychiatry than most of the professionals I deal with," and I was just going. I got a fucking liberal arts degree and an MA in critical theory. Slow up. And, you know, I read his book, Addiction is a Choice, 15, 20 years ago. And now he says things like, "I consider it an honor to be your friend." I'm like, life can be lovely sometimes. It really can. And the missus has just finished a time of the month. So I can get back to, you know, not walking around on eggshells. Man, she gets it bad. You know, I think it's fair to say there's a ratio of how lovely your missus is compared to how horrific she is when the painters are in. Good Lord, she knows it though, and you know, space is given, and I find many things to do. But that's really cheered me up, Mouse Cat. I only told you to blow the bloody Western metaphysical doors off. But I suggested the introduction, but I'm guessing that you got a taste for it. Read that essay on, you're going to have to read Writing and Difference as well. You're going to have to read Sign, Structure and Play. That's the one that blew the bloody doors off. There's an American linguistic school called the Speech Action Group or something like that, And Derrida wrote a book called Limited Ink, which is quite, in context, that's reasonably funny. I mean, that's how dull philosophers' lives are. A Limited Ink, Limited Incorporated is quite a good title for a novel, not a novel, but a piece of a collection of writing by a post-structuralist. But it's very playful. He tears them to pieces effortlessly. And these are people, and you've got to hand it to them. They've done their schooling, they've done their bachelor degrees, they've done their master's degrees, they've done their PhDs. You know, put that lot together. What's that? 3, 4, 5, 11, somewhere between 10 and 13 years in the academy, doing what they're told. You know, repeating back their tutors what they were told, getting the firsts. Everyone who gets firsts, 2-1's what you want. Because you worked, you done well, but you didn't toe the line. Everyone I know got firsts. It didn't turn out too well for them. But yeah, Derrida's like just sitting there going, well, look, you said this, but you also said this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's out of all Derrida's books, Limited Ink is probably his most accessible. Really playful, and I felt a bit sorry. John Searle is one of these speech act theorists, and if I remember rightly, they never replied to it because I reckon they sat in a room and just went, "He's an idiot, that Derrida," and the other one went, "Yeah, bloody bastard," and another one went, "Yeah, let's throw some eggs at him or something." Anyway. We're losing numbers talking about Derrida. Let's see.
John Palmer sent you a coffee, by the way.
All right, nice call. Very
Hello,
lovely.
Mrs.
Very cool. Hello, Lilith. Ludwig says tautological. Drop in a word, if you wish. There is Mrs. Minute. Look at her. I reckon your other half told you to say that. You don't come out with lang like that. I'm not having that. I reckon he went, "Oi, write this. Lang, Langue. I may be wrong. The least cryptic thing you ever said. Well, it's not just subjective. It's unstable. 42. Here he is. The OG, King of the Castle. Really, 42. He says this, breaking news. The Archbishop of Canterbury is no longer the head of the Anglican Church. The revolution shall not be as you expected. I mean, in fairness, he wasn't really anyway, was he? Like when you fail to uphold the standards, ideas, moral outlook and values of the Anglican Church. Hang on, let me try and work this out. Aquino. He was an Aquino, wasn't he? Archbishop of Canterbury in name only. That is interesting. Fair play, 42. Fair play. If you want to add to that, feel free. Hello, Buster Brook. How are you, son? It never starts and it never stops. How about that? Vincent wants to know what it all means. It does nothing. It just keeps moving. You can't hold meaning down. It just doesn't work like that. I always use this example. Say the same word twice. It's not, the second version, it means something different because you've repeated it. And you know, just take that as an example of how corrupt. I don't mean corrupt in like I'm not saying there's loads of people running around going, ha, 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 let's make language really, really, really unstable. But if you say tree, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, people, and this isn't off the cuff. I've already thought about it. I'm going to do a video, a live stream on Ferdinand de Saussure's book. What's it called? The Fundamentals of Linguistics, I think it's called. It might be the Fundamentals of Language, something like that. But Ferdinand de Saussure's book on linguistics, which opened up the field of semiotics, which started the 20th century modernist, structuralist and post-structuralist attack on on Western metaphysics, which needed doing. Lilith likes Packer, but he's married though. You can still like him though. That's all right. What's my novel about? My novel? I don't know. What does it all mean about your novel? You'll be able to read it soon, Vincent. I'm not joking. It will be coming out. Not the 500-page one. 800-page. Sorry. Right. Hang on. I don't want to go to traditional publishers. What, I do all the work and the marketing, and they get all the money, and it will take about 2 years to get published. And they're not going to publish my book. When I tell you what it's called, and it's got a new title, Packer, I'll tell you after. You'll realise why no trad publisher is going to publish it, but loads of people will buy. I'm very confident it will be a good seller, because you have to be. You absolutely are. It's lovely to see loads of OGs in here. I'd rather 47 OGs than 100 drifters. Mrs. Meanit said, can we hear Packer speak, please? Yeah, of course you can. Go on, Packer. You've been summoned.
Yeah, hello. I did say hello to Mrs. Meanit. Leon Squared has just said, I like Packer, but he's straight. Thanks,
Yeah, that's
Leon.
why, though. The gays, they like a straight man, don't they? They really like a straight man.
Do they?
Because they like men. Yeah, they like men, don't they? They don't want some.
All right, that's fair enough. I've never thought about it like that.
No, it's an absolute compliment. You know, when I lived in Soho and I was the only straight in the village. Yeah, when you know a gay's after, it's like, yeah, they see masculinity. That's what they want.
Yeah. No, I wasn't upset that Leon liked me.
Oh, hello. They're probably like, oi, go on, fuck off. I remember I went to one of Fat Tony's nights down in Vauxhall once. I'm sure Leon and Brad have popped into a couple of those, you know, called something like meat or some grotesque one word. Thrust, the night called Thrust.
Flesh.
And and on the floor is just a carpet of those little fish that you get in your little takeaway sushi, because you know that GHB liquid ecstasy stuff, they put it in those little fishes. That's like a hit's worth. So they have, and like it's like the fucking floor is like a fish tank. There's thousands of them. Souped Up said, I've had the conversation about the legal definition of Jaffa cakes a few times at low energy gatherings. That's an incredible comment. Fair play to her. Lilith talks about herself in the third person and says, Lilith is under Packer's table. He is enjoying it. I mean, okay. Mousecat's referring to his missus, says nothing to do with me. She's listening to my angst. Alexander G's been on the firm for 14 months. It's been longer than that. Mal Pre says the new one is a lady. Jennifer says, I went and bought your recommendation of Umberto Eco's in Travels in Hyperreality. Couldn't make head nor tail of it. Oh. Well, fair play for getting it, but if you couldn't make head nor tail of that, I'd leave Derrida alone. I don't know what to say, Jennifer. Maybe it needs too much back reading to get it, or maybe you approached it wrong. You know, maybe it's just about simulation, isn't it? Oh, Jennifer, I'm really impressed that you went out and bought that, and I'm sorry you didn't get anything out of it. I'm really sorry. If my novel sells really well and I can afford it, I'll send you a copy for free to repay you for that. I mean, what really well counts as is up for debate. Oh, hang on. Who said, was it Mal that said the new one is a lady? What, the new Archbishop of Canterbury is a lady? Hello, Pags. I'm surprised I'm surprised it's not a Muslim, to be honest with you. They would that actually, I wouldn't be surprised. You can imagine them just doing that. Right, where am I? Someone said JP sent a story over. That hasn't come through yet, JP, on my end. Oh, yes, it has. He bought 5 futures, not just the one. Oh, fair play to you, JP. Absolutely fair play to you. You'll get your moment of glory. People who use the old buy me a coffee or entropy do get that. And this is, we're going to start the stream right after this, people. But when someone chucks about 25 bond in the pan, they deserve with special effects. Look. John Palmer bought 5 futures. Amazing stream already, and it's still the first hour. You're amazing. No homo much. JP, thank you. Very kind. I'd love a night out on the piss with you. I just know that one of us gets nicked, and what's going on with my background again? I know that one of us ends up spending the night in a holding cell, and the other one ends up with the 5 birds we were chatting up. And I honestly, who are those old goldies? Look. When people take photos, though, they go black, and I look like I've got like teeth missing. Don't do it, kids. Thank you, John. That's very, very kind. Right, let's start the stream. Let's have a look at this video. So, like I say, I've only watched a few minutes, but Sam Richards again from Penn State University. I know a lot of you have heard this, but it's only fair for the no new people that are here that I say it again. He live streams his lectures, which means Penn State is putting their product on YouTube with comments. I think, if I'm right with comments, I might be wrong. 42 has added some more. He said the Anglican Church is split and the Church of England is a minority. Fucking hell, man! It's like dealing with football. The Premier League.
Can you clarify in the chat, 42? Are we all Anglicans now?
Great question from Picard. Thank you, 42, for clarifying that. Jed's on the firm. Hello, Jed. I haven't done one of those because of this damn novel. I haven't had the energy or the time to do any of those chats, but I enjoyed talking to you in those. So it will only be about, listen to everyone, it will be about 3 weeks, maybe 4, before the stream gets back to normal. 2 or 3 lives a week, 2 or 3 videos a week. It's just, you know, I'm up all night writing, 3 or 4 hours sleep, and I'm up working, trying to save my business. I'm not, you know, you have to make sacrifices if you want things. Life doesn't come and sit on your lap. But please don't think this is the nature of the stream, this channel moving forward. Actually, it's quite the opposite. This channel is going to pick up its content. And I think you're going to love this novel. I think if you were a teenager in the 80s, you're going to, well, even if you weren't, you're going to love it. There was something. John Palmer said the whole Church of England, C of E, sorry, is corrupted beyond repair. 42. I've turned my back on it. It's utterly anti-Christ. Good Lord. 42 said that came through late, for fuck's sake. I don't think it did. I'm just way behind. Alexander G has dropped 20 knock. Hello, Chris. I've been here for years, bud. No, I know. I absolutely know that. That's what I said. It's been longer than that. No, I know that. E for elephants on the firm as well. Coffee and walnut. Lovely. Right. So, Sam Simmons. It's actually a Warren Smith video. It's only 10 minutes long, but with me and you lot all chirping in, we'll no doubt get more of it. LC 350s on the firm. Toff is here. Look, straight in. LC350, still picking locks like a beagle, absolutely loving it. Hello, Willow. I went to a pub in Vauxhall that had strippers. I done a gig in Vauxhall and got chucked out halfway through. The bouncers took me and threw me out of the gig. They didn't like me. Well, obviously. Nice to see you, Willow. I hope you're well. Hello, Steve. Right, I'm sure I've missed some people. I hope I haven't missed any super chats or anything. If I have, stick it in the chat and Picard will remind me. If you donate using Entropy or buy me a coffee, stick it in the chat. Pack will give me a nudge. He's more than just a pretty face. Right, let's get into this, shall we? So, Warren called this video. So remember, Sam Richards makes his videos live. As far as I know, no other university does it. You do get the odd lecture from Harvard, which is a lecturer delivering something. That's not the same as a seminar when you're asking students questions. Personally, I think every university and school, certainly high school, or what we'd call secondary school, should do this. You should be able to see what you're getting. If you're going there, what am I getting? What's the quality of and not just, I think they should be putting out one a week by law. It should be in law. I used to work for a company that I used to go into schools and talk to sixth formers about their university life, all the things that they need to take into account, which was made worse by the amount of money they're going to owe when they leave. Most students don't even visit the university before they go there. It's like, would you buy a car without looking at it? I used to say, depending where I was, I'd say different things. When I'd done a school, I think you know this, but when I'd done a school in Camberwell, I said, would you buy a kilo of skunk without checking it out? And they just cracked up. I said, well, it's the same with your university. Go there, spend a day there, talk to students, look around. Is it more important to you that books are subsidized or beer is subsidized? I think when I was at Leeds, books weren't subsidized, but beer was. So beer was cheaper than the retail price, but books were the same. Okay. I used to go, I was so skint in Leeds, I used to go to the university bar. I know it is actually funny, but not very nice. And I'd just walk around trying to be invisible. Someone had a Guinness. I used to like Guinness. They'd have their one sip and put their beer down, and then they'd turn around to talk to whoever they were talking to. And I'd grab their beer and just go, I'd pour it down my throat and just put it down, and then just wipe my mouth. And as I'm wiping my mouth, the geezer turns back round to grab his it's gone. I'd do that about 10 times, but at the 10th time, it was time to leave because obviously I was losing my chops a little bit. People were just going, why you grab my beer? And I was sorry, mate, where's mine gone? It's quite good to go to the student bar, though, with no money and come back shit-faced. Anyway, Warren has called this Students Show Professor what it's really like to be a conservative on campus. Now, remember, I spent a lot of time in art schools and universities, so I've got a lot of experience. I know a few scrubs went to university as well, so stick it in the chat if it's relevant. I do try and not only put super chats and that up. You've all been very generous today. It's very kind, and it's encouraging as well. It's encouraging. We live in a market economy. People give me money, makes me feel like I'm offering value. Mal says, I'm culturally an old school Victorian Anglican, but in this incantation, I'm a member of another denomination, which I shall keep to myself. Okay. I don't know enough about any of this stuff, so you'll have to. 42 is probably a man, or anyone else who does know about it.
he answered my question with basically, it's way more complicated than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know nothing about the history of the church. I know a little bit about the printing press, and you know that they tried to keep reading and writing to themselves, but that's because I studied language, you know, and it obviously comes up. Right, so let's see what Warren has got to say about Sam Richards and talking to us. Like I say, I've watched about a minute of it, and it was enough to make me think this might be interesting. It might not, but you know, it's lovely to hang around with like-minded, friendly, honest people on a Friday. For me, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, but it is the weekend tomorrow. You know what? I can write all weekend, and bless my missus, she lets me. I'll just be writing all weekend. I might get a stream in, but that's asking a lot with my eyes slowly dying. Hello, Sal. Amazing. Sal, you're going to love this novel. You'll get it all. You went to the Downs, didn't you? You were at the Downs. You're a few years above me, weren't you? Sure you went to the Downs. I'm sure I've seen a picture of you with that old red jumper. I don't mean old, you know what I mean? That tatty old red jumper. I don't know what's our age difference? Excuse me, I'm sure I'm a couple of years younger than you, but I might not be. I do remember you being, hello, Skin, how are you, son? Skin to anyway, university, yeah, all right. I take it you didn't go. It's got a name, has it? I saw someone else say that. It's actually got a name. That makes me feel a bit better. There you go, Toffee. Toffee knows it.
Yeah.
My missus is wondering. Say hello. You want to say hello? Yes or no? No, okay. My girlfriend's telling me she's going to bed now. She talked to Packer. Do you want to say hello or not? All right, good night, love. I'll try not to make too much noise. She just lingers. She loves the attention. Yes or no? Have you ever seen something like that before? Go on, get your mouth. Do your job. Right, sorry about that, people. Just totally unnecessary. Do your job. That's a little in joke between me and now Mia and you. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I can't concentrate. Spanish chicken is on the firm. Amazing. I know you are, love. You always are. Right, we're going to get into this video. I'm just trying to catch up. Where are we? Right. Hello, John. It put him off his cake. Sorry about that. Right, let's run with this video, shall we? Oh, no, that's inviting someone. Share screen. Entire screen. That one will do. Put the audio on. Share. If you get an echo, let me know, but I don't really want to wear my headphones. I had a dream that they burnt my ears off. I think it's a roll VT. We'll do a little sound check, so let me know what it's like.
So these students try and show their professor what it's actually like to be conservative on.
Right, how was that, people? How was that for you, Picard? Hello, Freddie. That was good, was it? We got no problem.
Yeah.
Nice one, Steve. Absolutely lovely. Right, here we go then. So Sam Richards, Penn State University, talking to students. There's 700 people in the auditorium, and they know that this stuff goes out onto YouTube. And this is modern universities being a conservative, which means right wing, essentially. I mean, right and left wing are kind of obsolete these days. Anyway, let's go.
So these students try and show their professor what it's actually like to be conservative on their campus.
Help us understand what it's like to be conservative on the Penn State College campus.
I definitely was a little.
Sorry, straight away. I don't know whether she was referring to that, responding to that question. If she was, that says it all. It was, I mean, the chances that she was is a bit of a long shot, but.
Conservative on the Penn State College campus?
I definitely
No way did he just ask that. Conservative? Wow.
was a little scared to kind of like out myself.
There's definitely hesitancy.
Are most of your friends not conservative?
Yes.
I resonate with this student because this reminds me.
Did you hear what she said? I was a little bit scared to out myself. What, come out of the conservative closet? That's just ridiculous. You know, that's the state of modern Western universities. That if you have a different opinion to the orthodoxy that comes down from above, like I've been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places of higher education. And if you include my school, I met one outright conservative.
Of me.
Just like with my friends at school here, it's I don't think any of them really know like where I reside politically.
I wouldn't even call myself conservative. I don't know what I am. I don't think it really matters.
But, like my friends at home are predominantly white and
It's interesting that Warren Smith there. Oh, I like Warren Smith. He says, I wouldn't even call myself a conservative. I don't think it really matters. Well, it does. Because the first person Sam Richards has talked to referred to coming out. Do you think people had to come out as being left-wing? Or did they just have green hair, ridiculous glasses and a Che Guevara t-shirt? You know, it does matter actually, Warren, because people, you know, universities are meant to be a place of learning, but more so about developing critical thinking, critical debating skills. That's what it's about. And it's very hard to do that if there's an orthodoxy that dominates. When I was at my art schools, when I was at my university, we didn't agree. We didn't have the same views. The lecturers wanted us to, you know, they were communists, especially on my master's degree. They were just outright communists. I remember one American bloke once said, in the middle of you have a seminar, so the lecturer tells you stuff, but they really just want you to believe it. They don't want you to start picking holes in it. And he said, well, so she said, so after the seminar, after the delivery of the material, which at the time was the first section of the first volume of Das Kapital, I mean, which is all right. Marx is an important historical figure, but it's no surprise. But then he said, and here we go again, Leeds University communist boot camp. He said, you're not, he said this to the lecturer, he said, you're not really here for us to debate the rights and wrongs or the contradictions or the dialect or the Marxist dialectics alive and unwell within Marx's ideas. You want us to take them on. And I just was smiling, thinking, this is brilliant. But you'd have that fight, you'd have it. But it wasn't personal because they weren't belief systems. They weren't our identity, because you do away with all that at school. When you're at school, you know, I had a T-shirt with Jim Morrison on it. You know, yeah, I like the Doors. I'm that. You know, your identity and what you think, you're desperate to let people know. But when you mature out of that, your politics aren't your identity. Your identity is your values and your standards. And there's an overlap for sure. But when someone calls you out and says, look, you just told me you think X, but have you considered Y? Have you considered how it's problematized with this? And if we look historically, et cetera, and you get into a debate, and it can get not quite exceptionally heated. And as I've told you before, in my experience, this stuff would carry on in the canteen after the lecture. It would carry on into the bar that night, and it would carry on around someone's house at a party after when the bar closed, because we were passionate about it. But we didn't have to hide. We didn't hide what we thought. I'll tell you what, the feminists, Dartington Art College, there was Dartington Art School and Bretton Hall were considered the last bastions of actual avant-garde art teaching in England. I don't know. I think Bretton Hall's gone down the pan. Dartington has. It's moved to Falmouth. It's kind of just been absorbed into a standard clients, not students, sort of education illusion. But we were passionate about it. The idea of hiding your views at Dartington, I promise you, you could have said, I'm a Nazi, I'm a National Socialist, I believe in the ideas of the National Socialist Workers' Party of the 1940s Germany. There'd be someone, the tutor would go, okay, well, do you want to give us some of your ideas? You know, and then 30 years later, and it's only 30 years, it's nothing. People are hiding the fact that they're a fucking conservative in 30 years. Madness.
I don't think it really matters.
Like my friends at home are predominantly white and predominantly left-leaning, and they know my conservative values, and it doesn't really go well with them.
That's probably the case in my experience.
Okay, do you feel, are your friends knowledgeable about being?
Hang on a minute. I can't believe what I just heard.
And they know my conservative values, and
sorry, not that bit. I do apologize. I have to juggle a few things when I'm doing this.
where I reside politically.
I wouldn't even call myself conservative. I don't know what I am. I don't think it really matters.
But like my friends at home are predominantly white and predominantly left-leaning, and they know my conservative values, and it doesn't really go well with them.
Isn't that amazing? It's straight out of the Malcolm X playbook. Malcolm X outright said it. He said the biggest threat, his words, by the way, YouTube, this is a direct quote. Malcolm X said the biggest threat to the Negro is the white liberal. He said they come looking like something like they come looking like lambs, but they're foxes, and the fox tends to come off better in the end. And this girl who's mixed race, maybe, she's just said that her white friends, white liberals, obviously, because of the way she said they respond to her being a conservative. Look at that. You can just imagine that weird guilt. Like, can't compute. You can't be a conservative, though. You're not white. That's not right. We're trying to help you people. You Asians that are doing better than any other race in America. We're trying to save you from your massive wages and huge success and extended families and communities. Meanwhile, ours are falling to pieces, but how dare you?
Work ethic.
Yeah, there you go. Forgot that. But, and also props to her for sitting in front of 700 people as a non-white and saying, I'm a conservative. Because, do you remember those videos? We're probably going back about 5 or 6 years. There was a spate of them where like young conservative organisations and the like would turn up at university, couple of tables, a few leaflets, shirt, tie, nothing violent, no aggression, just if anyone wanted to, talk to them and explore their ideas, challenge their ideas, no problem. And people would just come over and throw their tables over and chuck all their leaflets out and say, "Fuck, you're not wanted here." What, at university? You're going to end up 100 grand in debt to go to a place that traditionally exists so that you get your ideas challenged, so you become cleverer. But you want to drag that down to just the orthodoxy that you already believe in, but all you're going to learn is how to defend it better. Here we go back to technique. Remember when we had that woman on from Jubilee, 20 conservatives and 20 black conservatives and 1 black radical. And I was talking about argumentation technique. It's like Scrabble. Have I got this right? Oh yeah, I used to keep saying Monopoly. Someone corrected me. Like Scrabble isn't about vocabulary. Scrabble's all about technique. And that's what happens when you silence being challenged. You know, if I had a 18-year-old who was off to university, I would want them, if they were doing a bachelor's degree, I would want them to have 3 years of being challenged. I told you about the lecture where my lecturer put a chair in the middle of the room. He said, "Why isn't that a throne?" And we started talking about it. Well, it is. It depends who's sitting on it. Okay. What if I turn it upside down? Is it a throne? Well, it's a throne upside down. So we go, but it gets really deep, really intense. And because we were first years, we think there's an answer. We think he wants to hear something, and we're trying to get good marks. And towards the end of the lecture, I thought, I've got this. And I said, I sort of explained my sort of hypothesis, excuse me, to him. And he said, yeah, he said, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then he just turned everything I said on its head. And the lecture actually wasn't about whether a chair could be a throne or not. It was about meaning. It was about language. It was about marking ideas with words. And you never got it right. That particular tutor never told you've got it right. It'd make you think you had, and then at the last moment, they'd just turn on its head. Like Mousecat said, Derrida is currently doing to him. Everything you once believed doesn't stand up to the slightest superficial analysis. You've just got to come at it from the right angle or wrong angle. And if I had an 18-year-old kid and he come home for the first term holidays, and I said, "Have you been challenged? Have your ideas been challenged?" And he went, "No, they just tell us stuff, and then we have to write an essay telling them that stuff back, and that's it." I'd go, "Well, fuck it off then. Go and get an apprenticeship. Learn something." What an absolute joke. Hello, Barney. How are you? Barney says, "A people rejecting its colonization, a straightforward desire to preserve, is not ideological. It does not exist on any left-right axiality." There you go. I think the left-right thing is kind of obsolete now. Anyway, let's go. Let's carry on. But where were we? So her white liberal friends, she said it doesn't go down too well when she says she's a conservative, because that's a spanner in their works. They want her to stay a victim. You're a victim. No, you are. My lecturer told me. You come to this country with nothing just because you've made more success of it than my mum and dad.
That's probably the case in my experience.
Okay. Do you feel, are your friends knowledgeable about being liberals, or are they just liberals because it's mostly the cool thing to do?
I think they're knowledgeable, but I also do think it is.
Sorry, wood tap though, amazing pins. Don't pretend you weren't looking. Sorry, that's not very mature, is it? It's an important question from Sam Richards.
It's mostly the cool thing to do.
I think they're knowledgeable, but I also do think it is kind of like the cool thing to do.
Right. So when she says, I think, it was interesting. She didn't say, I think they're knowledgeable. It's an important slip. She said, I think it's knowledgeable. That's the orthodoxy. And she said, I think it's the cool thing to do. So that's the higher point here. You know, she just wants to buffer it a bit. No, they're clever. They're clever. Well, no, you're not clever if you go along with something because it's a cool thing to do. Maybe if you're 13 years old, you can go along with the cool thing to do. But by the time you go to university, you don't go along with something just because CNN told you or your lecturer told you. Quite the opposite. You challenge them. So that first bit of a line was just a buffer. I want to keep my friends. They're knowledgeable. She didn't say that though. We'll play it again. She said it's knowledgeable. That's a really subtle but definite distinction. But they're going along with it because it's the orthodox way of thinking. It's the easy way to get through.
They're knowledgeable, but I also do think it is kind of like the cool thing to do.
Hang on, maybe I misheard. Weird Freudian hearing slip.
About being liberals, or are they just liberals because it's mostly the cool thing to do?
I think they're knowledgeable, but I also do think it is kind of like the cool thing to do.
Apologies, I got that wrong, but nonetheless, she still buffered her point.
They're certainly set in their ways, in my experience, and there's kind of this shock that anyone would disagree.
When I get to talk about my opinion, it's automatically invalid. Because I'm conservative.
And they don't really want to talk about it. I think it's...
And that's it. They don't want to talk about it. What a mess. How bad is that? Why are you at fucking university if you don't want to be challenged? I just don't understand it. The feminists that rocked up at Dartington, they expected, because Dartington was considered, like I said, the last bastion of British avant-garde art colleges, they thought it was all going to be like feminist. And it was. There was a strong element of it. Like they wanted a ladies' night in the bar, all right? And there was a big hoo-ha because the sort of moderates were like, well, why should the women have their own night in the bar? And so it was called to a meeting, and anyone who wanted to go could go. So we all took a lot of acid and went. And they were sort of going, you know where I'm going with this anyway. We want just one night a year where we can go to the bar without men being there. And, you know, someone just stand up and says, why? And, you know, that basic question was a real stumbling block for them because, and I'm sorry, they were not lucky in the genetic lottery. Now, there are some storming red hot feminists. There are. I've pleasured some in my time. Most of them, in fact, at that art school. It was a really weird thing. But the woman who set it up, I still remember her name. She was a lot older than the rest of us. She like put paint stripper on people's cars and things. She was an absolute loon. And at some point during that debate, she said, you can have a men's only night as well. If you want a men's only night, and no bloke in that room went, okay then. But one bloke just went, I think I can safely say for all the blokes in this room, we don't want that. There's no birds in the bar. Why go? Now, it turns out that on this women's only night, the woman that set it up, her first name was Jane. I think it's fair enough. I can say that. They were doing acts as a stage in a student bar. Well, in that one there was. The first act of the night, she got up on the stage with a handbag, and she opened it up, and she had like a pair of wire snippers, snips for cutting metal, thin sheets of metal. And she was like, I wonder what we could do with something like this. And then she just said, probably be good to castrate someone, wouldn't it? and that was meant to be a joke. And I got all this from girls I knew who went there. And apparently about an hour into the woman's only night, there was about 5 people left. It was a misogyny night. It was, what's it called? It's a word I use so infrequently. Not misanthropy.
Misandry.
Yeah, it was misandry night. And, you know, most people are, oh, for fuck's sake, why have you ruined Friday night in the bar? It's the best night of the week. And it didn't happen again. And I remember we had this glut of feminist lecturers coming in. Rose Garrard, lovely woman, but a really nice woman actually, but twisted. And I was talking to her out of class, like after the lecture, I was talking to her and I said, and this isn't the case now, by the way, but I was 18. I said, I don't read any books written by women. I said, I just find I can't identify with them. I can't identify with the protagonist, you know, because I'm not female. And I said, and musically, I said, I listen to a bit of Patti Smith, but most of the music, the rest of my music, they're male vocalists. Now, that isn't the case now, but it's probably about 95% to 5%. And this is what she said to me. She said, well, she said, I think you should go out and buy 5 books written by women and buy 5 albums made by females and listen to nothing but them for a month. And I was like, yeah, but why? Aren't you taking my choice away from me? Do you think everyone should do that?
Yeah, she didn't like you.
Eh?
She didn't like you either.
Yeah, it was just odd. I just said, but I said, I haven't made a decision that I don't like female vocalists. I mean, Susanna Hoff's in the Bangles. But I said, I haven't made a decision that I don't like female vocalists, so I'm not going to listen to any. But the stuff I buy, and in those days it was buy, there was no Napster, there was no like YouTube, but you had to buy music or borrow it from your mate. I said, I just hear something, and if I like it, I'll pirate it or buy it. And she had this, you know, that classic sort of old school feminist idea that the reason I don't like female writers and female musicians is because the patriarchy has told me that they're not as good. And I said, no. I said, I'm not, this isn't even about quality. I said, I'm sure there are some amazing female writers. I said, I'm sure of that. But I can't identify with them because I'm different. And, you know, I was only 18, so I was struggling a bit. But, and then when I went to the canteen, I said to one of the lecturers, I said, oh, it's Simon. And this, interestingly, this bloke works only with men, interestingly. He's got a show called Man Act. And he only works with male actors, and they're dancers as well. It's contemporary dance. It's puke-inducing nonsense. You know, all contemporary dance is the same. It needs Art Council funding, and it needs your tax dollars. It can't support itself. There's no market for contemporary dance. And I say all that because I know it. I went out with a contemporary dancer. I've followed her career. She's considered one of the best in the world. Right, one of the best contemporary choreographers now because she's a bit past it. And yet I go to her YouTube channel, 2 views, no comments. Well, tell a lie, my comment. These are my tax dollars. And it's like, you know, anyway, I said to this Simon Thorne fella, I said, Simon, why are we getting bombarded with feminist ideology? And he went, oh, dear Christopher. He said, they do make up half the population. And I went, yeah, I get that, but so do men. And he just sort of looked at me as if I was an idiot. Now, I wouldn't want that university, that art school, sorry, to have loads of lectures about men, because we don't exist separately like that. We exist together. Oh man. But you could challenge it. In that feminist lecture, you could challenge it. And they'd have to accept it. They'd have to accept it. I've told the story many times where me and a mate, I said, I'm so bored of this. He said, me too. It was an octagon theatre with all seating up one side, and there was the two lecturers sitting in the middle down and on like the floor. It was a dance studio, really. And I said, I tell you what, I said, when I give you the sign, we run down the steps, run between the two lecturers. You slide the window open. I'll throw our bags through. We both jump through and we run across the field, because it was down in Totnes, middle of nowhere. And he went, all right, I'm up for it. So they were yapping on about, actually, they were talking about Luce Rigori, who's actually a very good feminist writer. She wrote a book called Commodities Amongst Themselves. Luce Rigori and Julia Kristeva come to Leeds. She was a feminist, and she'd come in her high heels and her fur coat, and all the feminists went mad. It was amazing. She was part of Telkel, the Eternal Return, that late 60s movement with Derrida and Jacques Lacan. Anyway, we've done it. He went, go. So we've run down the steps, and of course, boom, 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 boom. Everyone's looking. Run between the two lecturers, slid the window open, threw our bags out, jumped out the window, and they could see us. We weren't looking at them, but, you know, it was a good 100 meters of field before we got to the canteen. Next day, we've got that lecture again, you know, in that hall with those lecturers. And you're not in trouble. It was like, so what was that about? And I said, it was so boring. I said, no one was talking, no one was challenging you, no one was engaged. You were just telling us that men aren't good and never have been, and we are looking at the rise of the matriarchy. That was it. And I said, I can handle that for a couple of sentences, but we were an hour and a half into it. And she, and in fairness to her, she said, okay. And she got me. To be honest, she got me. She said, so when you're bored, you need to be the center of attention. And I could feel myself. I thought, oh man, there's something in this. And she went, because you could have just walked out. You could have just walked down those steps and left, like people do in lectures. She said, but you and Stuart decided to make a show of it, a performance of it. She said, so what's that about? She said, were you getting scared that women are getting stronger, and you wanted to show, you know, it was fair play, but at least we then engaged in it. And then I started calling out everyone else. I said, but no one was saying anything. They're scared to death of questioning feminism, because we've had it thrown at us all fucking year. And you know, and they accepted that. They had that argument. They encouraged it. And that in 30 years, that's completely gone. These people are hiding. These people are hiding their political views.
Similar to what this student is describing.
That's not up for discussion.
I'll take it back a bit for context.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm conservative.
And they don't really want to talk about it. I think it's similar to what this student is describing.
That's not up for discussion. Up for them. They know it's right. They know it's wrong.
Yeah. How well do you think they understand conservative values?
Not well.
Okay, got you.
Having spoken to Sam Richards personally, he's the only professor who is doing this.
I think it's just like an internal fear I have. That like maybe I don't like share as much as I should. Maybe I don't like talk about like my beliefs as much as I do, just because of like
the internal fear is what you said earlier about your friends and so on.
He does genuinely want to get to the bottom of it. He's genuinely interested. He's trying to be objective.
People judge you and they don't even know why they're judging you,
yes.
right? Like especially on politics, most people like, first off, the vast majority of people on a college campus, they really don't even know what they believe.
It usually is just these talking points that they hear on NPR, the news that they know they're supposed to be concerned about.
What do you know about Donald Trump's policies? You know what I mean? Like, really, if I give you the microphone.
I had someone the other day who I'm getting to know from the lockpicking scene. And Trump came up and I thought, let's just avoid this. I thought, let's just keep talking about lockpicking because this isn't going to go well. And I went, well, I said, it's, I just tried to dodge it a bit. And she said, you do realize everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie. And I should have said, give me an example. And I don't think she would have been able to. Because I've had that plenty of times. And when you say that, they just come back at you with, oh, come on, everyone knows he's a liar. Yeah, that's not the same as giving me an example of a really broad stroke. Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie, which isn't true. That's blatantly not true. This is a geezer who stands in front of the press like 3 times a day. He has more engagement. He's had more engagements with the press in this term than like 5, I think it's than the previous 4 presidents put together. He's happy to have those conversations. I'm not defending Trump here, but I am defending him happy to talk to the media. And she just said, her friends, there's gonna be consequences for what she's saying here. And fair play to her, because she said her friends back home, they don't really know what they're talking about when it comes to conservative ideas. They're going along with what's cool, the sort of liberal orthodoxy. And they're going to watch this. Word gets round. Someone in her town's going to watch this. 6 degrees of separation. Tell so-and-so, tell so-and-so, tell so-and-so. And one of her friends is going to watch it. And she's going to think, that's me she's talking about. And then she's going to ring up her friend and say, wait, did you see what so-and-so said about us? And then when she goes back home on a half term or whatever they call it out there, there's going to be consequences. And actually she's doing the right thing, because if they sit down with her and say, well, tell us what you believe, and then challenge her and let her challenge them, they could grow closer. They could have a stronger, more honest friend, a more mature, more intellectually mature friendship, which means something. Because at the moment, and because of her age, and it's not untypical at that age to have kind of superficial friendships. When you're 18, you think, these are my best mates for life. And by the time you're 26, you barely talk to any of them again. They just disappear. But this is a lot of bravery for her, and it will serve her well in life. She's taking risks, and fair play to her, because that's what intelligent people do.
Phone and say, hey, come sit up on the table and tell us what is happening in the Donald Trump world. How many people could actually, these like hardcore liberals could actually say something more than 20 or 30 seconds?
But it's very predictable. That's why I like looking at interactions like this, because it actually goes beyond that.
Like my high school experience of like coming out as conservative, a lot of it gets judged as like I'm whitewashed, or I'm around too many white people, or
what an insult. What an absolute insult. Yeah. Yeah, she's got a lot working in her favor. Hello, Ams, how are you, son? Good to see thee.
something like that. I think that's what my fear is mainly, is just kind of being labeled as something that I'm not.
And you do see this, and it's incredibly hypocritical because it is racist if you actually listen to what the student is saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, my college experience has been nothing compared to the way my high school experience was. I'd say most of my teachers were very liberal.
Do you listen for it though, to say like, oh wait, hang on, is this professor trying to?
Sorry, I was reading Willow's comment. What a weird thing to say. I play golf with a guy who says everything Trump says is a lie. And I say, stop watching MSN and do your own research. Now he's got kidney cancer. Poor fucker. That's a weird old comment, Willow,
Move
but
me
you
in.
know,
Though.
they're all accepted. Hope you're well, mate. Hello, Zero Day. Good to see you.
Experience was, I'd say most of my teachers were.
Sorry, I cut him off. Let's get that in context.
Just kind of being labeled as something that I'm not.
And you do see this, and it's incredibly hypocritical because it is racist if you actually listen to what the student is saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, my college experience has been nothing compared to the way my high school experience was. I'd say most of my teachers were very liberal.
Do you listen for it though, to say like, oh wait, hang on, is this professor trying to kind of move me in this way or that way or something?
It's going to vary depending on the courses you're taking. What is your major? It's not as bad as some people make it out to be on their campus in the class.
But do you remember when I was grooming teenage nurses, according to the Times, when I done my conversation talking with teens, and all of the ones that were at university, even the ones like Harry was one of them, you know, remember Harry, Barclay's mate? He was studying like economics, and there was someone else on there doing engineering, someone else on there doing like human biology or something, all undergraduates. But all of them had to do take courses in critical race theory and the like. You know, it wasn't, you know, you go to college, I'm going to study economics, and you want to spend all your time on that. But no, you've got to go and listen to this nonsense. And so Warren is right that there'll be a different level of bias at most universities, but when they're making you take courses that are ideologically set in their ways, you're not going to get that ability to challenge it. Because if you challenge critical race theory, because that isn't a set of ideas to those people, it's a mission. It's a mission to tell you what has happened historically and what needs to happen to put it right. If you challenge it, you're racist. It's that simple. And so people just sit there, yeah, okay, cheers.
Classroom. But what about outside of the classroom? That's where things get really complicated.
There's not much happening on campus outside the classroom for people to learn about conservative ideas. So what you're saying in the classroom, I will say, well, historically, for me anyway, I have never seen a lot of activity on this campus that was directed toward teaching people about conservative ideas and values.
Absolutely. When I was at Leeds University and I was a communist, I was selling Living Marxism, Brendan O'Neill's old magazine that got sued out of existence by ITN. But look at the Marxists 30 years ago. The edition we were selling was called What's Wrong with Masculinity, and it had a big picture of Mike Tyson on the cover. And it had this little thing, and it was like, it was about censorship, and it was saying, no censorship, no banning this, no banning this, no banning this, no banning this. There was an Islamic group. They're still very active today, and they are very, very Islamic. They are on the far right of the Islamic people. They're called the Hizb ut-Tahrir. And Leeds University banned them because they didn't like the gays. And we, as Marxists, as communists, as both, we got them reinstated. And the argument, of course, was listen to their ridiculous ideas. Listen, if you don't listen to them, they get more powerful. They're a laughing stock. But when, as Sam Richards said then, he's never seen any conservative things like people promoting conservatism outside of the lecture. It was exactly the same at Leeds University. We had us lot, the Marxists. You had the SWP, who are just opportunists, the Socialist Workers' Party. They'll jump on anything to just get they're really they're really broken people, the SWB. You know, they haven't even got the balls to be Marxists. They're just this sort of floating in the middle. But there was not a single right-wing organization there apart from the Hizb ut-Tahrir. You just can't risk it. You know, if you've just joined a university, especially these days, are you gonna publicly sign up to the you know, Turning Point or the Young Conservatives? Because there's a target on your back then, and things have happened. Things have happened to those kinds of students, as we've all seen when they've had their tables thrown over and things thrown at them, and it's just not accepted. We don't want our ideas challenged. Well, what are you there for? 3 years of just repeating what you knew when you arrived. Well done. It's like buying a book that is just the same page 1,000 times.
I can only speak to my experiences, what I've seen, and at Emerson, I never saw a single conservative organization or event.
7 out of
At Emerson, so where Warren studied, and I think he might have done a master's, certainly a bachelor's. So 3, maybe 5 years, not a single conservative event, not one. And regardless of the obsolescence of left and right, you have got conservative, and you have. Can you hear me, or am I? I've stopped. Packer, can you hear me? Yeah, we're all good. It's just a tragedy, an absolute tragedy.
10 events were very liberal, man. It was like, come.
So what did he say? 7 out of 10 events were liberal.
10 events were
Single conservative organization or event.
7 out of 10 events were very liberal, man. It was like, come hear a speaker talk about the evils of ICE or something. I don't know.
So he's talking about Black Lives Matter. He's talking about Antifa. You know, these are the sort of people that they will have on these university campuses.
You know, we didn't have ICE back then in the same way, but you get it, right? It would be that, like, oh my God, or, you know, poverty and discrimination in schools. You know, it's like the speaker coming in for that, or what is all? It's 7 out of 10.
He does a great job breaking this down, because that is exactly what it feels like. But in my experience, it was even more extreme. I did not see a single example. Now and then they would have a conservative guest speaker. They were all kind of, I used to be conservative.
People, for some reason, I can't put comments on the screen. Oh, yes, I can, but they come up a bit later. Hello, Dotty Love. There you go. I clicked that about 10 minutes ago.
It's exactly what it feels like. But in my experience, it was even more extreme. I did not see a single example. Now and then they would have a conservative guest speaker. They were all kind of, I used to be conservative, but I don't like Trump. Or I am conservative, quote unquote, but I don't like the conservative party today.
2 out of 10 were just kind of nothing, you know.
So that's interesting from Warren. So the so-called conservative events are actually trying to nudge you in the opposite direction. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We've hit the hour-and-a-half mark, people. The grift is open all the time. Feel free. That'd be an absolute pleasure. If you're enjoying it. I mean, maybe you ain't. But I find this fascinating. I mean, look, I don't think my camera's working, but as long as you can hear me, I said this when we looked at one of these a couple of weeks ago. These people, society has selected them. They're in higher education. All the other people have gone and got trades, and hopefully will do very well out of it. You know, I know plenty of people who are making an absolute packet out of doing roofing, plumbing, carpentry, things with their hands that need doing. But these people, the way society works, they've been selected. It used to be that they'd been selected because they've proven themselves to be intelligent and able to think critically. But now they're just buying their way in. You know, they've either got a scholarship, which, you know, when I couldn't afford to pay for my master's degree, So I had a look through the books of the scholarships, and there's scholarships for black people, there's scholarships for Puerto Rican people, there's scholarships for all the mixed races you can imagine, there's scholarships for Jewish people, there's scholarships for like amputees, there's none for just a normal white working class bloke. These books are like 3 inches thick because they publish all the scholarships in them. Do you remember when what's his name, Milo Yiannopoulos, he set up a scholarship for white working class people, and it was like everyone went berserk. You can't do that. Why? Why not? What? You can help anyone, can't you? You can choose, if it's your money, you can choose to give anyone some help. I'll have you know, I shouldn't really say this, but I will do because it's interesting. One of my I've got one business, but we've got 2 shops, one based in America, one in the UK. It's online, so it sounds weird to say they're based, but well, they're based. But a good way of getting SEO juice is getting backlinks, right? So if thousands of other websites that have got high authority, every website has an authority number. Google gives it a level of authority. And so something like an official military site, if they backlink to your shop that sells military sort of and survivalist stuff, because they're an official American military website, and it'll be something like .mil or something, .arm, I don't know what it is, but that will carry a lot of authority. A backlink from them, that's good SEO juice. Another good one is .edu, which is education, and you can only get a .edu email if you're like an education. If you're like an education institute, and Harvard.edu is going to give you more SEO juice than Penn State.edu. But what I worked out was, if I gave a scholarship, and it was like $1,000 or something, this was years ago when we could afford it, I offered a scholarship, anyone could apply. I just wanted 500 words on why you should get this free money. And the reason I'd done it was because every university in America would publish that on their website. They have all their scholarships listed. And so every university in America linked to my shop. Amazing SEO juice, incredible. And so Google sees that and goes, oh, good Lord, all the universities are linking to this lockpicking shop. So we get good SEO juice out of it. Search engine optimization, that's what SEO is. Now, I obviously got about 3,000 applications, and I wanted to read them all. And they all come via email. And I've opened the first one. Hi, I'm LGBTQ plus. Delete. Next one. I think the Atlantic slave trade proves that. Next. It was really interesting that they were after the money. And I reckon most of them probably weren't even politically that way inclined. But they thought, if someone's giving money to a student, and with universities being left-wing institutions, monuments to the long march through the institutions, they're liable to be left-wing. And as soon as I read anything like that, I was just like, go on, sling your hook. Then I got to one, and it said, I've spent the last 4 years developing better ways to make replacement knees and hip bones, because the traditional way of doing it, and he even said, he said, I'll keep it simple because I'm assuming you're not an expert. And he sort of just said the traditional way of doing it tends to cause a lot of pain after the operation. This can be easily mitigated if blah, 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 blah. And I just went, yeah, you can have it. And I emailed him and said, yeah, good luck with your studies, and put $1,000 in his bank. But it was so funny how many of them were just playing the game. Just playing the game. I didn't trust them. I mean, this was pre-AI, but it might as well not have been. They were just saying what they thought, you know, people wanted to hear. Let's, I think I might have missed a super chat.
You did, yeah. You did, yeah.
Alexander dropped another one, 20 knock. I'll try again, the Griff. Thanks, Alexander, very kind. You might want to try again, but, you know. Good, cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Right, where are we? I am having a few problems with my computer, people. Spanish, if I said hello to you, mate, good to see you. Hrothgar, are you new on the firm? I don't recognize that name. If you are new, lovely to have you. It's a privilege for people to be here. We are people. I am actually, my subs are going up. It's only been 12 years, but we are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. I mean, it's like 3 a month, but you know, it's more than none. If you've been lurking for years for Hrothgar, I apologize, but welcome. Got a good community here. Right, let's get on with this video. Hang on, Slim says, so many of the crowdfunding ideas are just people unwilling to invest their own money, or they haven't got it. Yeah, exactly that. Right, let's roll VT. I'll
just
take
like whatever,
because I've talked a lot there.
Trump, or I am conservative, quote unquote, but I don't like the conservative party today.
2 out of 10 were just kind of nothing, you know, just like whatever, you know. So, but maybe 1 out of 10 was a little bit conservative, maybe even less than that.
There was no one who was not anti-Trump. We can put it that way.
Students who are kind of like.
Do you remember, like, people? I'm going to find it. Excuse the break, but do you remember it was the glory years of the red pilling? I think we're going back about 7 years now, when it's, you know, Sargon of Akkad had sort of broken through, and who was it? Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh, that feminist is absolutely brilliant. She's a psychoanalyst as well. Anyone remember her name? Old Bird. She was on a show the other day, actually. But it was Milo Yiannopoulos, her, and Stephen Crowder. And the audience were just liberals shouting, screaming, not letting them talk. And Stephen Crowder, who used to be a stand-up comic, he'd given an absolute drubbing. He absolutely smashed them. I'll see if I can find it. Can anyone remember that feminist name? She's good stuff, actually. She's not your standard feminist. No, Toffa, you're probably thinking of Camille Pagula, who's just the nuts. She's something else. No, she's a bit more like your nan, this woman. No, Pagula's great. Pagula is great. It might be. No, I'm thinking of the Bangles. That does sound familiar, though. Yeah, I'm going to look for the clip now. It's going to be so hard to find it. But he absolutely just let rip. Here it is. I found it. I've absolutely found it. Now, So yes, Susanna Hoffs there. Christina Hoffs. Susanna Hoffs is from the Bengals. So it was Milo Yiannopoulos. I mean, look at this, 9 years ago. Wow, where's that time gone? Professor Christina Hoff Summers, and it was called The Triggering, Has Political Correctness Gone Too Far? Now, I haven't seen this clip, so I don't know whether it will be the bit I'm talking about. I assume it will be. But I remember when I watched this, and what Stephen Crowder learned as a stand-up, stagecraft, essentially, how to deal with a hostile audience. I hope it's that bit. If it isn't, I apologize in advance. But Lilith, you laughing at the Susanna Hoffs confusion? I'm not sure. But here we go. Let's hope it is that bit. I've got to do this, or it will not have audio, I'm afraid.
Susanna Hoffs is still hot, by the way.
Well, she features in my novel, so I'm not going to talk too much about her. She comes up quite a lot. Packer, can you see that on the screen?
Yep.
All right, here we go, people. I might have remembered this. This is 9 years ago. It might not be as good as I remember. I'm starting to get a bit nervous now. But I remember it being excellent. So just a bit of context. They mainly screamed over and shouted over Christina Hoff Summers. They screamed over Milo. And then Stephen Crowder just thought, I've had enough of this. Souped Up says the triggering also refers to Susanna Hobbs. Yeah, she was something else. Yeah, here we go. Roll VT. Here we go. Before Milo and Professor, actually, Summers, could even begin their opening statements, the professional social justice warriors, and that was a new thing 9 years ago. Hello, Wolfie. The professional social justice warriors, the social justice warrior left, was shouting them down with boos, taunts, and hisses. There you go. Not letting them talk, not letting them have their ideas challenged. We don't want to be challenged. We know everything. That's why we're at university, to not learn anything. You off your heads, you fucking lunatics. And then Stephen Crowder just snapped. I mean, listen. Fair play that a few people are supporting the USA in the background.
Please, Mr. Crowder, if you'd like to make your opening remarks.
Hey! Thank you. Let's hear it for UMass Republicans putting this on. Come on, let them know you love him. Let's hear it for Milo. Let him know you love him. Let's hear it for Miss Summers. Let her know you love her. Time to listen up, you silly liberal fruitcakes.
So it's already amazing. Just get it on a positive vibe. No fear. This is going to be. I think this is going to be excellent. Time to listen up, you liberal fruitcakes. See the way he's strutting around the stage. There's a lot of space on that stage, and if you strut around on it, you're like a lion on the prairie or whatever it's called. What do they call it? On the Serengeti, I do. Yeah, exactly that, Ludwig. But also that walking around, owning the space. I'm in control here. I've got the mic. I'm not going to stand in one spot. Time to fucking listen up, you idiots. Yeah, it's mad, Toffee. It's blown my mind. What did I say? 5'7", something ridiculous like that. That's it. Latus out on the savannah. Nice to see you, Latus. Didn't know you were here, son.
Let's hear it for Milo. Let him know you love him. Let's hear it for Miss Summers. Let her know you love her. Time to listen up, you silly liberal fruitcakes. I came out here, I wanted to tell some jokes. Let's do some reality checks here. Do you have any idea, sir, how pathetic it must be to be you? These people wanted to come out and have a good time, hear a few jokes, some thoughtful discussion, but your head pops off the pillow in the morning with, oh, how can I be a professional victim today? Let me go in screw with their act just because, oh my God, your parents didn't tell you that your opinion wasn't worth that much. Look, they're confused. They're confused. You know why? Because I'm not your gender studies professor who has to cater to your trigger warning, microaggression, safe space bullshit. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to come out and tell a few jokes. You created this monster. We have to go. 10 more minutes of this. Let this reverberate. Let it be a life lesson. This monster right here that you're so afraid of, the face you see in your nightmares, was created by social justice warrior assholes like you. And now you have this wonderful faggot. That's what happens. We okay? We good? Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Darling, you can call me what you like.
Oh, okay, there we go. Crying out loud, listen. Nobody here wants to hear your opinion that much. And here's what's so crazy. You couldn't wait 5 minutes. Unlike leftists, we have an open panel and a Q&A session because we want an open idea. Oh, I'm a racist. There you go. That's a new one. Where'd you learn that one in Social Human Studies 101? Right next to the giant, I don't know, wild boar I couldn't see who said there's no such thing as fat chicks. Guess what? If you think there aren't, you are one, okay? Did he just make a fat joke? Yeah, I did. And no, it's okay, because I got some here, so screw you. I have a faggot pass and a fat pass today. We wanted to come out here and tell a few jokes. We wanted to have a thoughtful discussion. We want an open conversation of ideas. You guys can't be grown adults enough to literally wait 10 minutes to the point where we open the floor. And unlike leftists, guess what? We don't try and ban you when your speakers come to school. We don't show up and protest and call them, oh, shut up, you just got owned and now you're trying to come back 5 minutes later. It's like George... The jerk store called, they're running out of you, George Costanza, you androgynous little amoeba. And by the way, these opinions you're yelling out, they're not even your opinions. They're your opinions from your gender studies professor, and the really reason you picked it was because you thought it was your best chance at getting laid. You just decided to walk on in to try and pick up chicks at the San Francisco retread pot-smoking drum circle, only to realize that your very glance in the direction of a woman causes a barren womb. Oh, you think this is gonna get better? No. Is he gonna check his privilege? That's not going to happen. I don't want to come out here and give someone the finger, but it's because they walk out and this chick is start a show like that. This is absurd. At least when you go back to like Christina Hoff Sommers' days, self-professed Democrats, hippies, the retreads that you guys want to be, at least they thought they were fighting the system. They thought they were trying to create transparency. They really thought they were for free speech. You people are openly and completely against it. You're not fighting for free speech. You're not fighting for rights. You're fighting for the right to be a pussy and not hear opinions that you don't like. I'm done.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and fits in perfectly with what we've been talking about with the other stuff. It's shocking, really. And he said it all there. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear different ideas. They don't want to have a debate. He said they couldn't even wait 5 minutes. They started shouting it down before they even got to talking. And I know, safe space microaggressions and all that sounds a bit dated, but yeah, it was 9 years ago. But these people actually went through all that stuff then. Do you remember when that black girl tried to cut off some white kid's dreadlocks? She literally got out a pair of scissors on campus and started going at his hair with them. What the fuck? She was like, you can't have them. Alexander's dropped another donation. I don't know if it's coming up on the screen because my old screen's completely fucked. It might do in a minute, but there you go. Thanks for the microaggression safe space. Yeah, it was like almost nostalgic to hear it, wasn't it, Alexander? Thank you, mate. Aprasha Kanoti. Let me just check over on the stories and the entropy. Oh, that's great. Something went wrong. I've just got to sign into entropy again. Sorry, people. That's a pain in the ass. Lord, it is. But isn't that mad? 9 years ago, Crowder and that saw the start of it, saw it happening, and it worked. They won. The fact is they won, because now, as we're seeing from Sam Richards, universities are a one-way street now. That is what has happened. That's a fact. It worked. They beat us. The irony, of course, is they come out of it worse off. They lose. They've lost. You know, they could have had Alan, bless you. I didn't know you were here. Maybe you just rocked up. Fair play, Alan. I hope you're well. You know, there must be some kind of parable or, you know, allegory or something, you know. Oh, the word I'm looking for is a Pyrrhic victory. Yeah, we turned universities into places where our ideas don't get challenged. We turned universities into places that have a political and ideological orthodoxy. Yeah, haha, fuck you, conservatives. Well, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your debt. Enjoy coming out of that with nothing, and enjoy, almost certainly, the majority of employers thinking, oh, this person got a degree in gender studies. Yeah, no. Right, back to the main clip. Thank you, Alan. That's really appreciated. I hope you're well, mate. I was just talking about false limbs. I imagine you're up and about like a beagle. Let me know in the chat if it's... My mate who had both his knees done, he was riding a bike about 2 months later, 66 years old. Are you up and about and all good now? I certainly hope so. Right. How do I do this? Share screen, whole screen, entire screen, add audio, select that one, share. Alexander has dropped another 50 knock. Microaggression, safe space, kind of fade next to nuclear bunkers. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Nice one, Alexander. You've been very kind. Good to hear, Alan. I bet it's a fucking relief. My mate was in agony for like 5 years, and now he goes on boating holidays with his son and things. So I hope you've had a similar turnaround in fortune. Mousecat says, the trouble is, Chris, they pull each other into the establishment, and now they are that system. No, without a doubt. I mean, this is the effect. This is the outcome of the long march through the institutions. As I said last week, these are middle management. These are the next batch of leaders. These are the next batch of political leaders. They're not going to give those jobs to plumbers and roofers. These are those people who don't know how to debate, people who don't want to debate, people who actively want to silence opposition. I mean, surely as someone who wants the world to be a better place, you want truth. Truth is not partisan. Truth stands alone. You know, you're not trying to win. You're trying to find the truth. How do we make things better? How do we improve the living standards? How do we make our nations better? How do we support our ideas? Well, you find the truth. But you're in a completely different ballpark when you're not up for being challenged, when you're not up for hearing opposing arguments. The truth doesn't even fart in that place. You know, it's in a different universe to that. Absolute insanity. Right. Roll VT. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Like the student group connected to Turning Point, they have a real hard time. Like they have a tough time scheduling rooms. They have a tough time. Something also often gets in the way and disrupts the event.
The problem is the college can always claim it was just bureaucracy. They didn't have the right paperwork, this permit. Oh, the dates got shuffled. They can make up so many excuses.
I remember last year.
You know, that's exactly the same as the police in Thailand. Now, admittedly, you're not meant to be riding a motorbike in Thailand. If you haven't got an international motorbike license, it's against the law. But they let you, Cambodia now is like Thailand was 20 years ago when I first started going there. But what will happen is you'll be driving along on your motorbike, they'll hide round corners. When you get round the corner, they just come and get you. And there's like 30, for all foreigners, they don't pick up the tyres because they haven't got any money on them. And they'll be like, right, you've got a helmet on, your light's off. Because if you have your light on during the day, I don't know whether that's a bad thing. Apparently it is. But if you're not doing anything wrong, they'll find something. They'll just make something up. They'll say your back tire's got a bald spot. And then it's you can pay me 50 quid that I'm going to put in my pocket, or you can pay a proper fine of 10 quid, which you'll have to queue up over there and fill in some forms, and it'll take about an hour, maybe 4. And it's the same as they just said, as Warren Smith and Sam Richards said, if you're a conservative trying to set up an event, they'll always find something. Stephen Crowder has just gone back to doing Change My Mind live at universities. He had to announce it 2 hours before the event so that no one could set up a fucking gun. And he spent $250,000 on security, not because he wanted to, but because that was what he was told he had to do. He had actual Navy SEALs protecting him and you know, doing like a recon on the area, just to challenge ideas at a university. Listen to it. I know it's getting repetitive, people, but I just want you to understand that the one thing that institution is for is doing everything in its power now to not do. It's like a fire station getting rid of all their fire trucks and all their firemen, putting a table tennis court in there and cutting all the phone lines. And that's the fire station. Well, it still is a fire station. Of course it is. It says it. But if there's a fire, they can't do anything about it. That's what a university is now. It doesn't function in the way it's meant to. You go there, you learn what you already took there, and you leave stupider than you arrived. It's absurd. And it's again, there's long-term civilizational effect, negative effects to this. These are the leaders of the next generation. These are the politicians and the leaders and the middle management of the next generation. It doesn't bode well.
It was actually Charlie Kirk with
I'll just take it back.
It was just bureaucracy. They didn't have the right paperwork, this permit. Oh, the dates got shuffled. They can make up so many excuses.
I remember last year, it was actually Charlie Kirk with Turning Point USA. He came here for a big event. And I remember I showed up and basically there was no event, and it was because of protests on campus.
If I remember correctly, they pulled the plug because they said they hadn't filled out the correct form. They hadn't done something they needed to do.
Right. And I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but I find that hard to believe, considering that the event had already been planned for months.
It seems a little bit suspect.
It seems a little hard to believe, especially when there were open protests on the same hub lawn just on the other side. Dude, calling Charlie Kirk a Nazi, then I find that pretty hard to believe.
Those on the right don't seem to try and shut down guest speakers who are reflecting liberal.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it. Please tell me in the chat, have you ever seen a video where people on the so-called right are trying to shut down people on the so-called left? Even communists, even misanthropic, we already had the word and I've forgot it again. Even misanthropic, misandrist feminists. No. Go and give your presentation, because I'm going to come in there and I'm going to start asking you some questions. I want to hear it. I want to hear what I oppose. I want your ideas to come out because they're so weak. I can just swat them like a mosquito. Has anyone ever seen it? I haven't seen it. I've never seen it. Why would you? And it's because people on the right. I'm a bit lost with this left right. I think it's more nationalist, globalist. I think that stands up a bit more. I believe in the nation state. I actually believe that diversity is a strength. That's why I want to. One of the reasons why I support the nation state, because then we have actual difference. We have traditional music from hundreds of countries. We have traditional foods and dancing and histories and literature. But a globalist future doesn't give you that. It's just it's the old packet of plasticine, isn't it? If you get your plasticine, you got your blue, your green, your red, your yellow, your orange, you got your white bit, your black bit, and it's all lovely. And but soon, if you don't maintain the borders between those different coloured bits of plasticine, and we all done it as kids, 2 months after you bought it, you've just got a big lump of brown plasticine. And that's what happens to the culture of the whole world. The sort of the food you can get in England, you can get anywhere in the world. Food you can get, well, you know where that's going. So that's why I believe in the nation state against globalists. But arguments again, mate, when you've got a mouthful of smoke, it don't come out so well.
Communism only works. The whole world does it. The reason it hasn't worked yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the whole world didn't do it.
I was taught to say that. It's a global project. It won't work unless everyone gets involved. I mean, it's just stupid. It's like the idea of a 5-year-old.
Values. I've never seen it.
I think for conservative events, there's definitely more protesters than there would be at a liberal event.
Yeah, like conservatives never show up to protest liberal events. Right? Well, you wouldn't.
Sam Richards said it. He's been lecturing for like 30 years. He used the word never. Tabs open, Chris. I don't know what that means. Is it something I'm doing wrong, Spanish chicken?
Be able to. And if you go back to what I was saying earlier, the conservative student groups who wanted to show up to protest the liberal events, you'd be doing something every night, man, because there was always some liberal thing going on, man.
So a student in the audience speaks up and he says, yes, it's not as bad as some people make it out to be, but I have certainly experienced this.
So I could see if conservatives are like scared. I definitely have had professors that were more liberal, and they use like what's considered like woke language.
He's clear.
I don't know what happened there, but that clip, I'll just carry on. That kid is so nervous.
Clearly pretty nervous. He's speaking in front of a lot of people, but I get what he's saying.
Definitely like thought twice using the language that the professor may use. Just so I can get like brown.
You can hear his voice like just sort of warbling. It's got that sort of slight tremolo of fear to it.
May use, just so I can get like brownie points on like an essay.
So Sam asked them, on average, you have 25 professors in a year. How many of those 25 do you think would be what you're describing?
How many do you think you would identify in that way?
All of them.
Of the 20, let's say 25.
At least half.
Really? Half?
I can only speak for what I have seen.
Hello,
in
Anglo.
classes that incorporate those kind of topics, it would be higher than half.
English, I've taken a lot of literature classes.
Yeah.
Like they are all very openly liberal.
Another student speaks up from the audience. She's articulating the same concept.
I am Republican, and I just wanted to answer your question because you were kind of asking if you ever felt like it put you in a little bit of a box. And I noticed
Pags nails it. For some reason, I can't put comments on the screen or they're taking half hour to show. But Pags says his card is marked. Yeah, he's just come out. He's just come out and said, I think a lot of my peers are just agreeing with the tutors what he called brownie points, and they all now know that's what he thinks of them. how do you think that's going to affect his social life at college? Is he getting invited to parties? Is he getting invited out at the weekend? No. He's gonna be, scapegoated. See you later. Go on, fuck off, you you Nazi. It's ridiculous.
I was writing my papers a little bit more Republican originally, and I don't know if it was biased or anything, but kind of like the grades shifted when I kind of made them a little less Republican and maybe a little bit more liberal.
It's using this coded language to signal agreement, and that does affect your grade. And many of the students listening, you can tell, want to push back. This conservative student makes this point about not having race identity on your application, that box that you check.
But I also believe
that last girl said, when she writes Republican, when she pushes it a bit further in that direction, her grades went down. That's disgusting. Surely you get marked on the quality of your argument, not the position you're taking. If you could, it's a really interesting story about David Duke. I'm sure many of you know him. I'm tempted to get him on, but I don't know if it will cost me my channel. But David Duke was a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, and his tutor at uni said, right, I want you all to write a paper stillmanning your ideological opponent's position, which is a great thing for a tutor to do. And again, this is going back 50 odd years. This is what tutors should do. I want you to stillman your opposition, your ideological opposition's position. Because why? Why is that a good thing to do? Because you have to go and study it. You have to go and read some of their books. You have to understand their arguments. And then you have to put it forward as best you can, even though you don't believe in it. Belief is a bit of a weird word to use there. But you don't agree with it, but you still do it. And David Duke, being a far left liberal, still manned the rights position and never looked back. Because he, what a thing. He learned something, and what an amazing thing to do. Pags has just said scientific debate. This goes very deep, but it's like the scientific method, isn't it? Let's what do they call it? Oh, hang on. It's fucking late, people. Excuse me. Yeah. Can you falsify your own argument? And so to do that, what a way to learn. And for a lecturer to put that out to a class, that lecturer isn't being partisan. That lecturer isn't saying, I want you to know this because this is the truth. It's saying, I want you to consider truth. I want you to understand how truth is a slippery thing that can be nudged in certain directions with certain rhetoric. But do you think leftist lecturers are going to be doing that these days? Maybe Sam Richards, but I'd put every penny I don't own on no. It's too risky. It's too risky. Imagine getting a class of liberals and saying, can you still man a conservative position? My belief is they'll all come back conservatives because the arguments are just so much stronger. They're not just angry. They're not just angry, flailing for accusations. Packer, can you see my Paint Shop Pro 8 on the screen?
I certainly can, yes.
Jimmy from Philly, for the grift. Philly for the grift. Nice one, James. Much appreciated. Lovely to talk to you the other day, and always appreciate something for the grift. Cheers, man. And it really was lovely to talk to you the other day as well. I thought about that after the show. Right, can you see that again, Pack? We're back to these people.
Yep.
Why isn't it filling the whole screen? Let's try and get this done properly. Right, share screen. Entire screen, that one. Share audio. And it's exactly the same. Well, it'll have to do, people. Apologies, I don't know how to use YouTube.
Believe that race-based hiring shouldn't exist, and putting your race on a job application shouldn't exist. No one should be judged based on their skin color.
This is a really weird angle. Now, I don't know how far this was edited after what they were just talking about, but this bloke is just coming in. I mean, I might be wrong. Like I said, I haven't watched this. I watched a couple of minutes of it, but it sounds like he's just suddenly trying to say, hey, I'm on the left. Well, I mean, again, this could be 20 minutes later, but it does seem a little bit out of the blue.
Everyone should be great.
Let's just take it back a bit. Like, even his face, he's got that sort of contempt about him. All this, hang on a minute. They're supporting, hello, Budgie Burger. It's like, they're supporting conservatism. I'm going to say something that scored me some points in a liberal party the other day. This is really odd. Check him out.
Hiring shouldn't exist. But I also
This point about not having race identity on your application, that box that you check.
But I also believe that race-based hiring shouldn't exist, and putting your race on a job application shouldn't exist. No one should be judged based on their skin color. Everyone should be graded fairly based on their merits.
Oh, you're a clever bloke. Have you heard of DEI?
A student raises her hand to try and counter this.
I just wanted to circle back to the.
We see this bird on one of Sam Richards' videos before. She wants to circle back. Okay. Yeah, exactly that, Toffee. That's what I was thinking. Let's see what she's got to say.
Comment made about DEI and how like the check boxes for race should be taken off completely.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sorry, I don't see them. Dennis said that first and then she agreed. Since we have a woman of color up there, I just want to know, how would that be beneficial, and like what would help anything by taking away people identify there?
Yo, let's do a class on this.
Coincidentally, this is the same student from the last video I did. Apparently there were a lot of comments directed at them and there was some concern, but I'm glad to see that she's still willing to engage.
Okay, let's do a class on this. We'll do a whole class, okay?
It's a fair point because she's bringing up the whole idea of DEI. I don't think that's what Sam Richard wants this lecture to be about. This lecture's about what's it like to be a conservative on campus. So that little cuck who just wanted to score some left-wing points, you know, he just nudged it in a direction that, you know, as a lecturer, and I've done it, I've lectured undergraduates, you've got to keep things going in some direction, or, you know, people would just be talking about anything like that little bloke did then. Little bloke, sorry.
That's a really cool question. We're just going to come back and do a class on it. Damn, all the conservatives are tuning in. All right. Is it more difficult to date on a college campus as a conservative?
But did you hear that? Is it so someone on the internet has obviously just asked, because people can type in and ask questions live, is it harder to date? Is it harder to pull birds or blokes as a conservative?
I'm going to say no.
Well, I found that I had amazing success with the feminists. Maybe it was some kind of sort of self-loathing sort of masochism, but, you know, they'd slag me off for 3 hours in the bar and then ask me if I wanted a tipple back at theirs. I'll tell you what, it's kind of sexy telling someone you're the patriarch while you're giving them your patriarchal baton.
Personally, I find conservative women more attractive.
All right.
And so does everyone. Come on, everyone loves traditional women. Why? Because they're feminine. Weird that.
I find like conservative men more attractive. I also think it is a little bit more difficult.
For the same reason, they tend to be more masculine.
difficult to date because of like my conservative values, like traditional values, like believing in like a nuclear family, like.
That's crazy that believing in a nuclear family is a conservative value. And the fact.
Yeah, that is absurd. Just having a man and a father and a mother and some children is now considered right wing. I mean, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
That is an obstacle to dating says a lot.
Definitely difficult to find someone who shares the same beliefs as me.
Yeah, because we're part of this. Is like a big.
I mean, let's be honest. Imagine being a left-wing girl, and we've all seen the left-wing boys. What, Destiny? The geezer's 30 odd, and he calls himself Destiny. Are you sure? Destiny. Are you part of the World Wrestling Foundation or something? Here comes Destiny. What'd you say, Packer?
Destiny's jaw.
You've lost me there, mate.
Well, watch his jaw. Oh, yeah. Your will keep going 3 weeks.
He's got that kind of sulfate swing about it, hasn't it?
Well, it's like hair and nails.
Just think of the like leftist men. They're not attractive. I'm sorry I can't put comments on the screen. For some reason it's not working, but people, please read the chat. It's hilarious. Pags, Spanish chicken and mouse cat especially coming up with some classics. Pags has just said density. But come on, man, Destiny. And you know, it turns out that most of Destiny's viewers are like 13, 14. You know, it's like, what? Is that your role in life? Yeah, exactly. Spanish chicken, they do, not all, hashtag not all, but most. Hello, Boris. How you doing, son? Nice to see you. We haven't had a talk in a while. I've been very busy, Boris, but as I explained to you, normal communicado will return once I've got this project finished. Destiny's Son is far right. Is that a real thing? Oh, and Baz, there you go. I mean, Hassan Piker. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, he's got the muscle, but I just can't see girls finding him attractive. I just can't see. I can see teenage girls finding him attractive, but that's illegal and horrible. But you know, any woman worth her salt, feminist or not, is not going to want that sort. You know, he's not a challenger. He's not brave. He's not courageous. He just does what he's been told. He's a mirror of the orthodoxy. That's not attractive. It's not attractive. Women like, and so the men like people who step outside of that. I can't seem to put comments on the screen, but Alexander just dropped another 50 knock. He said, I'd be considered a lefty 20 years ago. I rejected the NATO draft 30 years ago. 3 rounds in court. Now I'm the Nat. Yeah, fair play. Cheers, Alexander. Very kind. Our clothes dropped 15 bonding. I didn't know you were here, mate. He says, all right, lads, sorry I ain't been around the manor a little while. I've only been doing like 1 stream a week, Art Close, so apologies too. It will be, as I just said to Boris, normal streaming and video making will return shortly. I've just got to get this novel finished, and it's nearly there. Not the big one, but the one I've been writing. I can't even see the fucking comments now. What is happening with my computer? But thank you, Arklow, and I hope you're well. But your comment, why can't I put them on the screen? I want to read the rest of your comment. Sorry I ain't been around the manor a while. I'll explain when I get a chance. Visiting London soon. Any good spots on Wardour Street to visit? Arklow, what for lunch or for dinner or something? Arklow, send me an email, chris@chrisdangerfield.com. Not only will I be able to give you a good tip, but I'll likely be able to get you a discount in a decent place. But if it has to be specifically Wardour Street, that might be a bit tricky. I think there might be a Coat on Wardour Street. I might be able to help you out there. That's a decent restaurant. But send me an email and we can discuss this further, and I might be able to help you out there. I've got contacts in that game, and it would be an absolute pleasure to give something back. Dangerfield, you have a tab open causing Packer to echo. Anyone else hearing that? I don't know. To be honest with you, 42, my computer's not working properly. Look at the screen. Why has the YouTube clip got a board around it? It's not going as well, and I can't
hear it.
You can hear the echo?
Yeah.
What, my echo? Why am I echoing?
Why can you hear me?
Huh?
I hear me, not you.
Why are you echoing?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's not much left, people. I think it's pretty much wrapping up now anyway. Thank you, Arclo. That was very kind. Send me an email, chris@chrisdangerfield.com.
It's a drinking culture. It's a hookup culture. It's all sorts of things. It's like that.
I just wanted to know what you guys think about why there is so much a divide between the left and the right. Even in Trump's last presidency, we didn't see this much of a divide where there was so much violence and hatred, I guess.
That'll be the media,
I would say.
That is the question. And I think it comes down to intolerance of disagreement, viewing the other as evil, the certainty that you're right. It's the same dynamic that causes.
It is that, Warren, but it doesn't come from nowhere. When the media has spent the last God knows how long telling the country that the other half of the country are actual Nazis and actual fascists, when that person then gets into power, that's hard to pedal back on.
People to shut down speakers when they come to campus.
We're just like everybody else. Have an open mind if you're going to bring up politics, and I disagree with you. And don't be stuck in your ways to think that you're 100% right, because no one's 100% right.
And there you go. Not even me. And I'll tell you what, that's one of the best things I ever learned. Even when I think I know something for a fact, I question it. I absolutely question it. Yeah, there you go. So here we go. Here's someone missed. Alan's one. Alexander's one. I'll let you just read them. They paid their money. They deserve it. Another one from Alexander there. And then Arclo's one. I don't know what was going on there, people. Massive apologies.
You check.
Yeah.
You buy me a coffee.
I am, even if you think you're 100% right, always give yourself that 1% where you may not be, just because it will help protect you. I think I've told this story millions of times, but I was talking about a film with a mate, and I said, "Oh, it's got that." I can't remember her name. One of those, that hot female actress who does the snake dance in that Tarantino movie. I said, "Yeah, she's in it." He went, "No, it ain't her." I was so sure. I went, "Yes, it is. I see it the other night." He went, "It ain't." I said, 20 quid. And he went, "Sure." And we shook hands, and I went, "Right." Got my phone out. Bosh. Wrong. And we fell out over it because I was a dick. I went, "Oh, fucking hell." I went, "You're not actually going to take that 20 quid off me, are you?" He went, "Yeah, fucking right. I went, give me that 20 quid. It was weird. And he was in the right. Of course he was in the right. We just made a bet. I wasn't angry at him. I was angry at me. So never be 100%. Always give yourself a little bit of breathing room. Still make bets on things and get it wrong. But, if someone says, "No, you're wrong about something," just say, "Well, I'm 99%, but, I could always be wrong." Just say that. It just covers you, just does, We do forget things. We do retain false memories. Right, where are we going here? I'll tell you what I want to do just quickly. Why did that close down? I think I need a new computer, man. So it's been like this all day. Bosh. It's been lovely, by the way. I mean, you know, it's why can't I even see that? It's crazy. It's been lovely. There you go. Look, someone bought 5 futures. Look, 5 futures is a fair do. That's about 25 quid or something. Oi, Shagger, the world's gone mad. Appreciati, enjoy your rambles into the madness. If whoever that is wants to let me know in the chat, I will thank you. Everyone who sends a video via Buy Me a Coffee, sends a donation, Buy Me a Coffee, gets a video. I can do a video reply, so I do that. Hello, tax, insurance and accessories. Someone just said something of important. Hello, Colonel Custard, didn't know you were here. Oh, this is the one I wanted. Spanish Chicken says, I was wrong in 1998 once. Then it turned out I was right. That's the kind of style I like.
Yes, I have lost some timber. I'm on the carnivore diet, so everything's fine. I'm all good. Don't worry about it.
What's happening there? What am I missing out on, Packer?
Well, the thing you put up, Colonel Custard, as Packer lost some timber.
What's that weight?
Yeah.
I'm trying to put this on my other monitor. Oh, that works quite nicely, actually. LC 350 just dropped another 5 spot. Nice one, LC. I know I'm a bit close, which is ruining the illusion of the apothecary, but maybe I'll do that next time. I need to be back a little bit. If I go back much further, I'm going to bump into that.
Need to go to your right. That's it. You're there.
Yeah, a bit too much tip over there. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? There you go. Yeah, you need a little bit of me. Thank you, LC350. That's very kind of you. And I can put messages on the screen, and maybe it's something to do with the monitor. Who was that who dropped that 5 futures? If you don't want to confess to it, not a problem. But if you do, Lartus has been on the firm for 57 months. Absolute lovely Lartus. Oh, Lartus, I'll just quickly say this. I will not drag it on for hours, but about 115,000 words this novel, and I've got to get it down to 85,000. That ain't fun, is it? Just chucking like 1,000 words away. It's like, yeah, but you're excellent, but it's a journal format. It ain't going to carry 115,000 words. But Ernest Hemingway, writing's easy. Just sit down at the typewriter and bleed. Tell me about it. Well, people, there you go. It's 2:45 in the morning. I'm fucking ready. I'm going to just grab this. Give me a second. Okay, I'll do that. Packer, what do you make of tonight's show then?
Thoroughly enjoyed.
Interesting, isn't it? Universities are fucked. Absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Did anyone in the chat admit to making that donation? They might want to stay.
Not that I noticed, but I was busy typing a reply to Mousecat that I haven't finished yet.
Not a problem. I'll send them a video anyway. LC350. Don't forget, if there's anything you fancy in the shop, let us know. I can help you out there. All right, people. Packer, I'm going to let you go, mate.
In my beat, he says I'll get my video. So maybe it was him.
He has used it before. Spanish Chicken, was that you? Just dropped 5 futures over in the Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you, John Palmer. It was you that got me to do these reactions. I haven't got the energy at the moment to just ad hoc and tell stories like I used to. I will get back to that, but at the moment I need some material to bounce off of, and I think they're working. I think they're going down. We're not getting the numbers we used to, but that's because I haven't been doing as many streams or making as many videos as I used to. It's kind of expected. Blogs has just turned up. Wolfie says that Hemingway was a good angler. I like Hemingway. Yeah, it's great stuff, man. Great writer. Fantastic writer. Baz has to watch the screen for an opinion. I'm late to the party. I think you'll agree, Baz. Universities now do the opposite of what their original intention was. All right, people, listen, I'm going to shove this back over this side and it's all going to go down the pan. Packer, I'm going to let you go, son. We'll have a little debriefing afterwards if you've got time.
Thanks for having me. Cheers, Scrubs.
It's an absolute privilege and a pleasure. Show Packer some love in the chat, people. Honestly, I can't do it without him anymore. I'm addicted. Look at the state of my my mise en scene has gone all wrong, but no problems. I want to thank everyone who donated. I want to thank Packer. I want to thank most of all you lot. Excellent engagement in the chat. Some good laughs too. And yeah, just give me another sort of 4 or 5 weeks to get this novel all done. 2-3 streams a week, 2 or 3 videos a week. But you just can't do everything in life. And I'm desperate to try and earn a living as a writer. Look at that. It's what you come for. Here's a bit of music for you. Enjoy your weekend, people. Make the most of it. You only get one life, but if you play it right, you only need one. Thank you, Chris Thrall, for that endlessly brilliant quote. What's going on here? I think it's going to be that one, that one, that one. Take care, people. What's happening? What's on the screen? No, I don't want that one. Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't know. Oh, I'm just going to take myself off the screen. See you later.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of man love. There's a someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a time. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in man love. All the world loves the lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of man God. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free, where time is always spring, happiness is king. The dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in man love.
Sorry, I had to cut that short because I've got to go to bed. I'm flailing. Thank you, Packer, for that. He's giving his voice a rest. I mean, yeah, it's been a long one. Oh, hey, listen, just someone said that, I think it was Plot Loser, found my last Substack amusing. Listen, I haven't put any shorts up for a couple of months because of the novel, but I dug out some old work. You can read it all. There's reviews from Alex James, Dave Courtney, Howard Marks, Mr. Nice, Mackenzie Crook. It was going to be a book, but I spunked the money on Skag instead of getting it printed. But the letters to customer service, you can read it in about 10 minutes. Just go to my Substack, look for the one. There's a picture of a woman looking confused because she's meant to be a customer service. I've done them in like 2002. It's a bit of a laugh. It could do with some more comments, though. But yeah, thank you, Plot Loser. Yeah, nice one, Mouse Cat. Appreciated. Enjoy your weekend, people, and look after yourselves. And don't forget to tell the people you love them, because they often forget, and it's nice to tell them. Ta-ta.